Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today I'm taking a look at Codex Supplement Deathwatch, latest in the Warhammer 40,000 9th edition supplements, specifically the first one for Codex Space Marines. Now there were some 8th edition supplements that are still currently available for the Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, Raven Guard, Salamanders, Iron Hands, but this is the first fully 9th edition, you can see new logo supplement, and it's specifically for the Deathwatch. Now, this is a big change for the Deathwatch, as well as for the Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Space Wolves, as previously they had standalone books that kind of reprinted everything from the Space Marine Codex. And what that led to is it led to a whole bunch of additional content being published in things like Psychic Awakening and the Nihilist books, or the Vigilist books. And so this kind of like ratifies all of that material into one Space Marine Codex for 9th edition, and then creates these as supplements so that you just basically play off of what's in the main Space Marine Codex. Now what's cool about that is that's given options that were previously unavailable to a bunch of Space Marine chapters. For instance, the Deathwatch having access to certain other vehicles, and just sort of like support things that they didn't really have before. And this is a pretty standard supplement. It's divided in the new 9th edition way, so you've got your showcase and your sort of background section, which is all the miniatures, and then the story for the Deathwatch. If you don't know who the Deathwatch are, in a nutshell, they're sort of the special forces of the special forces. They're the Space Marines, super elite branch militant of the Ordo Xenos of the Inquisition, who are pulled together to fight different alien threats. They kind of riff on and play on the Night's Watch now from George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones, with watch forts, watch captains. There's a lot of... I like it because it's a modern day riff, where like previously you had like the 80s and 90s riffs. You know, you had Inquisitor, what was his name? Inquisitor Obi-Wan Clouseau in the Rogue Trader book. In this one, you've got kind of a modern day riff on the Night's Watch, and that idea of like they're sort of opposing this like greater threat that the Imperium kind of knows about, but they whitewash a little bit to be like, no, it's okay. It's like everything's fine. This didn't burn down. Everything's okay. We're good. And the Deathwatch kind of knows all the secret terrors of the 40k universe as far as like aliens are concerned. If you want to read a good one, there's one, I think Chris Raitt wrote it. It's called Sons of Fenris or Sons of Raz. It's about a Space Wolf that comes back from the Deathwatch after his tour there and has a hard time fitting back into the Space Wolves because he knows too much about the galaxy. And so it's a really good book about Space Wolves. Actually, it's got some Battle Sisters in it too. But it also has this really interesting story about the Deathwatch, where the Space Wolf like can't reacclimate to being a Space Wolf anymore because he knows too much about the galaxy. So anyway, I'll stop talking about things that aren't rules, because I know some of you are just like, Ash, just get on with it. Like, could you just get to the things that are important and cut past all this stuff? No, I can't, because I like this stuff too. So I got our color section, all the cool new Primaris stuff they have access to, and then we jump into the rules. So, like I said, 9th edition format, so Battleforge rules, Army rules, Match Play rules, Crusade rules, data sheets, points, war gear, and rules reference. And I go over this when I went to the Space Marine Codex originally. Actually, I really like how this is like laid out. So first things first, the detachments. What do you get? You get mission tactics. Now this was spoiled on Warhammer Community. Basically what it means is you get to pick when your doctrines are active. Long story short, there's the standard doctrines for the Space Marine Army. You get Devastator, you move into Tactical, you have the choice of Tactical and Assault, and then it's Assault from there on in. The Deathwatch can choose. They're the best of the best. They pick what order they want to do one in each turn, but you're limited basically to how many times you can do them. So you can be in the Devastator Doctrine no more than once per battle. So whenever you want to be in the Devastator Doctrine, you can be. You pick the start of the battle round, but you can only do it once. Tactical Doctrine up to twice, and then Assault Doctrine up to 3 times. So it still adds up to being the same, right? You have a choice, but you can mix it. So like, you could be in the Assault Doctrine the first 3 turns of the game, and then the Tactical Doctrine after that, or like Tactical, Assault, Assault. That's pretty cool. That's really powerful to be able to up your AP and stuff like that. And then we get into strats. Now, what's really neat is there's a bunch of stratagems that play into their main chapter tactic, which if you don't remember it, it's pick a battlefield roll, and everyone re-rolls once to wound against that battlefield roll for the most part. There's a bunch of things that kind of augment that in here. So the first one's Death the Alien. Use it in the fight phase until the end of the phase, while the instant engagement range of any Tyranids, Eldari, Orc, Necron, or Town Empire units add one to your attacks. So for a CP, you could strike assault plus an additional attack, right? So you basically just like, you unlock your learning on how to kill that alien or whatever. Prognosticating Volley, this is an Eldari one. Use it in the shooting phase. At the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against an Eldari unit, you can roll hit roll modifiers. So it's basically 1 CP to ignore all the Eldar's like tricks for getting around minuses to hit. They're not as bad and oppressive as they were in 8th edition because it maxes it at -1 now. But that's still neat for a CP. You can just go like, no flyer or no whatever and just like scalp it out. So imagine your, double las cannon Vendread, quad las cannon Vendread or quad auto cannon Vendread or whatever, the accelerated auto cannon one. Just being like, no Eldar flyer, I ignore your minds to hit, and just hit it on 2s and blow to the sky. Synaptic Severance, it's for synapse targets, obviously for Tyranids. Use it in the shooting phase or the fight phase. When you're selected to shoot or fight until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack against a Tyranid unit, a modified roll of 6 automatically wounds. So auto 6s to wound for shooting or melee. Adaptive Tactics, Deathwatch Epic Deeds, 2 CPs for this one. The first reroll 1. Excuse me. Using your command phase of a Watchmaster units in the battlefield, change the battlefield role selected for the purposes of the Unit Hunter's Chapter Tactic. You can only do this once. So if you picked troops for 2 CPs in sort of a battle round, you could just be, or sort of in your command phase, you could just be like, nope, I want to change this to heavy support. So basically, like, if you've killed off all the things in your opponent's army that are from the battlefield role you initially selected, spend 2 CPs and switch it over. 1 CP for Atonement Through Honor targets a Deathwatch unit with a black shield in it. They can perform a heroic interventionist if they were a character. So that's pretty cool. If you're within 3, your opponent's turn, you got a black shield on that unit, you just go 1 CP. Nope, you just jump on them like your Space Wolves. 1 CP for Sanction of the Black Vault. You can give a Sergeant either Artificer Armor, Mastercraft Weapon, Digital Weapon, Bane Bolts, or Artificer. So that's pretty cool. Artificer Bolt Cache, sorry. And that's the same sort of like Space Marine one. Vigil Unmatched. Use a stratagem after nominating a Deathwatch character model that's not named character to be your Warlord. You can generate 1 additional Warlord trait for them from the Deathwatch Warlord traits. And you can only have each one once. Stun the Green Tide, 2 CPs. It's the same as before, pretty much. You can Overwatch, so it does buy you a second Overwatch during the turn. But you have to target an Orc unit. So it only works against Orcs, but against Orcs you get 2 Overwatches, which is kind of cool. And then until the end of the phase, if any models from that Orc unit destroys a Overwatch, they're -2 to charge roll. So it caps at -2 now. It used to be for each casualty, but now it's just if you do a casualty, they're -2. So good and bad. So if you only get 1, you get -2, but if you get more than that, it's capped now. But double Overwatch could be cool. Priority Doctrine Adoption, 1 CP. Using your command phase, select a Deathwatch unit in your army, and then select 1 Combat Doctrine. Until the start of the next command phase, they gain that Combat Doctrine instead of the active one. You only use this once. You stratagem if every unit in your army has a Deathwatch keyword. So you can buy basically additional Doctrine to switch over to. It's kind of like the old Tome of the Ectoclades. Targeting Scramblers, use a stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase after a Talon Party unit's resolved its shooting against a Deathwatch unit. Remove all marker light counters. So for 1 CP, just buy off all the marker lights. That could be very handy. Overkill for 1 CP. Use it when you're shooting a Necron unit. Your opponent makes -1 of their reanimation protocols. Yeah. Brotherhood of Veterans, 2 CPs. Use a stratagem in your command phase. Select 1 Deathwatch unit from your army, and then select 1 tactic, chapter tactic, or successor tactic from Codex Space Marines. Until the end of the turn, the models in that unit have that instead of Xenos Hunters. So that's pretty cool. So for 2 CPs, forget the Black Shield Atonement Through Honor thing, you could just have them all be Space Wolves and be able to get additional 6s to hit, or not 6s to hit, get the Heroic Intervention. Or, you can make them Ultramarines and give them the ability to stand still and rapid fire or whatever you want. Like, that's a big buy-in all of a sudden for 2 CPs. Not just 2 CPs, which is a big, but being able to just be like, no, the Marine from this chapter in the unit now says we act like that chapter is pretty cool. And thematic. I like it when a rule is both useful in the game and thematic to, like, the army, you know what I mean? Disruptive Launch for 1 CP. Use a stratagem in the movement phase when you've got a jump back unit in an Indomitor kill team or Proteus kill team that fell back, they can still shoot. So if you've got a Deathwatch Vanguard or a Inceptor in your, like, your new one, your big one, the Indomitor one, then you can fall back and shoot still for a CP. But it costs a CP now. It's not free the way it used to be. Teleportarium for 1 CP. Use it during deployment. Select a Deathwatch Infantry, Dreadnought, Biker, and put them in reserve. If you are a Strike Force, you can use this strat twice. If you're Onslaught, you can use it 3 times. 1 CP each. Relentless Assault. Use a stratagem in your movement phase. When a Deathwatch Biker unit or a kill team unit that contains a veteran Biker Rider fell back, they can charge even though they fell back.
So for 1 CP, your Outriders can fall back in charge. Kind of cool. And there's already the trick, if you haven't seen, of being able to take a 5 Outrider squad. So you make an Indomitor kill team that's all Intercessors, and you buy 5 Outriders into it, then Combat Squad them off. So you can have a 5-man Outrider squad, which is the only way to do it right now, because you only have 3 in the Space Marine army. Yeah, it's pretty cool, because they're super fighty. Shroud Field for 2 CPs using the first turn on a Corvus Blackstar. You can only target it with shooting attacks during the first battle round if it's the closest model. So that's a really cool way to hide your transport for a round. Clavis, it's the same almost as before. Use it for a Watchmaster. It's within an inch of a vehicle. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds until the end of the phase. It can't fight until everything else is fought. So you have your little like override key basically that like shuts down its alien machine spirit. And then Special Issue Loader for 2 CPs. Use this on a Deathwatch infantry when they're shooting bolt weapons. They get to use the special issue ammunition rule. So people were mad special issue ammunition went away, but you can buy it back now for 2 CPs. The problem is, though, for all of you guys who modeled Stormbolters, it changes the characteristics to Heavy 1. So your 4-shot special ammos are not coming back. You get Heavy 1-shot with those Stormbolters instead, because you like hand load around it, basically, to do the shooting. So, okay. And then we got Kill Team Specialisms. This is pretty cool. So Kill Team Specialisms allow you, for your different types of kill team, to buy one of these additional traits, basically. And it's kind of like having your Xenos killing protocols active for a different battlefield role for points. So it all costs different points. It's basically 25 for anybody to buy a specialism. You only have each specialism once in your army. Except for Kill Team Castless, they have the Aquila specialism, and it lets you have an additional Aquila all the time. So if you take the special character kill team, like, yay, you get an additional Aquila one. The other ones, and it's built in, you don't pay for it. The Aquila one costs 25, the Dominatus costs 25, Fuhrer is 35, Malleus is 35, Purgatus is 25, and Venator is 25. And you, an army cannot contain more than 1 kill team with the same specialism, and it cannot contain 2 Venator kill team units or 2 Dominatus kill team units, with the exception of units upgraded using the Masters of Specialisms rules. So there is a Crusade rule that allows you to have more than 1. So what do they do? So the Aquila one, each time model in this unit makes a attack against a fast attacker flyer model, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. And if you select the fast attacker flyer battlefield roll for the Xenos Hunter's chapter tactic, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, it's all wound rolls. So basically, you get that battlefield roll for all of these, and then if you've already got that as your Xenos Hunters, then it doubles down, it becomes all wound rolls instead. So it's kind of like the Necron thing, where you get the dynasties and some of them get to double down their protocols. This is basically the same kind of thing. Venator... Malleus is against heavy support, Lords of War, dedicated transports. It's reroll 1s, and then all if you've already picked that one. It's like you're fighting knights, you just reroll all wounds for that kill team, which is pretty cool. Dominatus is elites, Fuhrer is troops, and Purgatus is HQs. And so you're basically being able to say these guys are extra good at killing. So when you pick your army, it's kind of rough because you have to pick one of these kill team specialisms right away. Although some of them would always be useful, like the against heavy support one's kind of always useful, or Titans, because you're always going to have something that's hard to kill, and like if you've got a dedicated anti-tank unit, upgrading them to be able to fight anti-tank is kind of cool. Alright, Warlord traits. Vigilance Incarnate for your Deathwatch, in command phase, you select a Deathwatch core unit within 6 of the Warlord. Each time you do, select 1 battlefield roll, and they reroll 1s against it. So he is now the old Tome of the Eptoclades. Basically. Paragon of the Chapter, select 1 Warlord trait from the Chapter Warlord traits, replace all instances of that chapter's keyword with the Warlord trait with Deathwatch. If this Warlord has the heraldry of one of those chapters, if you painted him right, Fists, Black Templars, Flush Terrors, or one of their successors, you must select that chapter's Warlord trait. Note that this cannot be a Chapter Warlord trait found in a Codex Supplement. So you can't pick Warlord traits found in the Codex Supplements, but you can pick the bespoke Warlord traits from the Space Marine Codex, as long as your guy's painted as being from that chapter. So a little caveat there, but it's neat. And it's, again, it's a rule that is kind of cool, because you can cherry pick some cool ones, but also is specifically like, it fits the theme of the army, where they're coming from all different chapters, right? This is the background. Norda hides an aura. In your command phase, you can select 1 enemy unit in the battlefield until the start of your next command phase, while a friendly Deathwatch core unit within 6 of this Warlord. Each time a friendly model makes an attack against an enemy unit, it does not receive the benefit of cover, so minus cover. This one's optimized priority aura. While a friendly Deathwatch core or Deathwatch character is within 6 of this Warlord, that unit can make a ranged attack without that action failing. So you can shoot and still push buttons for objectives. Castellan of the Black Vault. When mustering your army, you can give one of the following relics to this Warlord: Adamantine Mantle, Artificer Armor, Mastercraft Weapon, Digital Weapons. This is in addition to any relics that they may have, and each relic in your army must be unique. So you get a bonus relic. And then Ties That Bind. While a friendly Deathwatch core unit is within 6 of this Warlord, you can reroll morale tests. If in your command phase, you can select one friendly Deathwatch core unit within 6 of this Warlord until the start of the next command phase. That unit gains the objective security ability. If a model in that unit already has this ability, it counts as one additional model. That's pretty cool. And then Relics, Beacon Angelus. Once per battle, if the bearer did not arrive as reinforcements this turn, it can activate the beacon. In the reinforcement step, you can select one friendly Deathwatch infantry Deathwatch biker unit that's either on the battlefield and did not arrive as reinforcements this turn, or in a teleportarium, and then set them up wholly within 6 and not within 9. So you can summon a unit to you, basically. The Dominus Aegis replaces a Relic Shield or Combat Storm Shield or Combat Shield. It's +1 armor save. And then an Ore of a 5+ invul within 6 to Deathwatch core and Deathwatch characters. So kind of a baby Lion's Helm, but not on vehicles. And 5+. Osseous Key for the Watchmaster. While enemy vehicles within 12, -1 to hit. And while enemy vehicles within 12, -1 to its attacks. Thief of Secrets. It's a mastercrafted Power Sword or Power Sword or Xenophase Sword. It's basically a +1 strength, -4 save, 1 damage, and then it's no invuls. So it's like a super Xenophase Sword, and it's damage 2 against Tyranids, Eldari, Necrons, or Orcs, or Tau. Tell me the Electric Blades, it's just changed to while friendly, it's an aura, while friendly Deathwatch core units within 6. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack against a unit belonging to the selected datasheet, you reroll the wound roll. So in your command phase, you just pick a datasheet in your opponent's army and go, we reroll wounds against you. We're smart. We look it up in the book and go, shoot him there. Adamantine Mantle. It's the same as the usual one, so 5+ wound shrug. Mastercraft Weapon, +1 damage. Digi Weapons, additional mortal wound. Oh my gosh, fart in my throat. Sorry. I'm just gonna drink some coffee. There we go. That fixes everything. Coffee's the Ties That Bind. And show my drinking problem. Whoops. Digital Weapons. Each time a bearer fights, it can make an additional attack using the close combat weapon and does mortal wounds. Artificer Armor 2+, 5+, Blackweave Shroud, +1 toughness, and a 4+ wound shrug against mortal wounds. Spear of the First Vigil is actually really cool. It replaces your Vigil Spear, and it's a Strength 4, -1, 2 damage, Rapid Fire 2 gun, and then +2 Strength, -3, flat 3 damage for its melee, and then it's special issue ammo, like it always was. Or it was in the FAQ update. The Soul Fortress, it's for librarians only. Each time a psych test is taken, you can ignore any and all modifiers, and your psych hood gets increased to 24 inches. And then Bane Bolts of Erixia. When you select this relic, select one bolt weapon. See Codex Space Marines, the bearer is equipped with. When that model is chosen to shoot with, you can choose for that weapon to fire a Bane Bolt. If you do, it's Strength 6, -2 AP, and damage 3. That's one shot. Which is pretty cool. Vorkin Pattern I was trying to figure out how to say it. Auspicator. Bearer has the following abilities. Omnicanopticon. It's an aura. Deathwatch core within 6 of the bearer. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack against a flyer, add +1 with hit roll. And then Artificer Bolt Cache, bolt weapon. You get special issue ammo. So all bolt weapons carried by it. So that's a way to give your Stormbolter special issue ammo. Yay, but it's not a character. Or a sergeant, actually. And then Eye of Abiding. Each time a bearer makes an attack, you can ignore any and all hit roll, wound roll, ballistic skill, weapon skill modifiers. And each time the bearer makes an attack on an unmodified wound roll of 6, invulnerable saving throws cannot be made, which is pretty cool. And then we got the Xenopurge Discipline. This is the Deathwatch only psychic discipline. Premorphic Resonance, Blessing. It's Deathwatch unit within 18. Until the start of the next psychic phase, Overwatch is on a 5+. If that unit's in the fight phase and engagement range, it fights first. Each time a melee unit's made, add 1 to its hit roll. So speed them up. Fortified with Contempt, Blessing. It's a casting value of 6. So it was Premorphic Resonance, by the way. If manifested, select one friendly Deathwatch infantry biker unit within 18. Until the start of your next psychic phase, each time a model in that unit would lose a wound on a 5+ is not lost. So it gives you a 5+ wound shrug for infantry or bikers. Neural Void, it's a malediction. Subtract 1 -1 from the attack characteristic of that model's in the unit within 18. Cast on a 7. Each time a charge is declared by that unit, they have to charge the closest enemy. And then Psychic Cleanse, Witchfire, cast on 6. If manifested, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within an enemy model within 9 of the Psyker. On a 6, take a mortal wound, so you blow up. Mantle of Shadow, Blessing, cast on 6. If manifested, select a friendly Deathwatch infantry unit within 12 of the Psyker until the start of your next Psychic phase. If that unit does not shoot or declare a charge, enemy models cannot target that unit with ranged attacks unless they're within 12 of it or the closest eligible unit. Kind of cool. And then Severance, Malediction, as a warp charge of 7. If manifested, select an enemy character within 18 of the Psyker. They take a mortal wound until the start of your next Psychic phase. Reduce the range of that unit's auras by 3. The result of the Psychic test was greater than the character's leadership. Then until the start of the next Psychic phase, they cannot use the unit's aura abilities. That's pretty cool. And then you got our chapter-approved rules. So these are the match play rules that you get. So on top of your detachment rules. So you have Battlefield Supremacy. These are your ones you can choose. You've got a Purge the Enemy, a Shadow Operations, and a No Mercy for your minor objectives. So the Long Vigil is your Battlefield Supremacy one. You can score 5 victory points at the start of your command phase if there's no enemy units, excluding aircraft, within 6 of your deployment zone, and there's at least 1 Deathwatch unit wholly within your deployment zone. You can't score this secondary objective during the first battle round. So you can't, the second battle round on, if there's no one in your deployment zone, and some deployment zones are crazy, like small or weird, you get 5, and that's a big score. So push people back. Your Purge one's called Cull Order. If you select this secondary, then after both sides have finished deploying, starting with your opponent, both players alternate selecting battlefield roles from the units in their opponent's army until 3 different roles have been selected. So you get to pick 2, basically, your opponent picks 1. If their opponent's army does not include units with 3 battlefield roles, select as many as possible. At the end of the battle, for each battlefield role that was selected, score 5 VPs. If every enemy unit in your opponent's army with that battlefield role was destroyed. So, like, if your opponent has 1 dedicated transport, you say dedicated transports. And then you kill that and you score 5. So whatever your opponent has 1 of, you're going to pick that and scalpel it out, and you'll probably get 10. And then he's going to pick the one probably, or the one that there's the most of between the two of you for the middle one, which will be the hardest one for you to try and do. But that's a pretty good one to be able to, like, tactically score on. I like that one more than most of the Purge enemy ones. And that one also gives a potential of 15, which a lot of the Purge ones don't. Shadow Ops, Triple Stronghold. If you select the secondary after both sides have finished deploying, your opponent must select 1 objective marker on the battlefield to be the location of their stronghold objective. If objective markers are wholly within your opponent's deployment zone, one of these must be the stronghold. If you selected the secondary objective, then Deathwatch infantry units from your army can attempt the following action. Triple Stronghold. 1 Deathwatch infantry unit from your army can start this perform this action at the end of their movement phase. If they're in range of the stronghold objective, no enemy units are within range. That action is completed at the start of your next command phase, and you score 6 each time you successfully complete this action. And then No Mercy, No Respite, Suffer Not the Alien, score 1 VP at the end of the battle for each enemy Tyranid, Eldari, Orc, Necron, and Talon unit destroyed by Deathwatch units from your army during the battle. So your opponent has lots of units, Tyranids maybe, although they sometimes don't. Necrons, Orcs tend to have a lot of small units. Tau can too, drone units and whatnot. That's a good one for when you're fighting aliens. And it's not a Purge the Alien either. So, like, Suffer Not the Alien and Cull Order would actually go really well together because you're doing them at the same time, really. And yeah, I could see those being really popular as 2 to combine, maybe with the bespoke one from the actual mission. Crusade rules, you get I'm not going to go through these because, 1, they're more fun to be surprised by, and 2, most people watching this aren't super concerned by them, but you get to see them when I'm playing my Crusade army of Deathwatch. But you're going to get your own sort of set of Deathwatch Crusade stuff. And then data sheets. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on these because this is a direct reprint. I checked it of what's on the current GW website right now for the Deathwatch FAQ. So if you've seen the current Deathwatch FAQ, the rules for mixed units are exactly the same. The rules for creating a kill team are exactly the same. The rules for these 4 kill teams are exactly the same. So the Proteus, Fortis, Indomitor, and Spectrus. So if you want to know what these are, Proteus is the Deathwatch old school Marine one. This is the Intercessor one, Heavy Intercessor one for the Indomitor one, and the Spectrus one is for Infiltrators. And then you can add basically Phobos guys to this one, Aggressors to this one, and Eradicators to that one. So the Gravis guys, it's like Gravis, Phobos, regular Intercessor, Primaris, and then this is the old Space Marines. The old Space Marines. And then all of this is basically the same too. You got Watchmasters, you got Artemis, you got Chaplain Cassius, his Codicea Nitorin, who's the one from Deathwatch Overkill. I like that he's still in here. Kill Team Cassius, which is the bespoke kill team from Deathwatch Overkill, and then you've got your Deathwatch veterans. I like that they basically start off as, where is it? They start off as Kill Team Cassius. I think they're 3 power per model. The Watch Sergeant is equipped with Deathwatch, 1 veteran, 1 veteran, 1 veteran, 1 veteran. Why are there only 3 power? There's a ton of them. That feels like it's a misprint. 1 Vanguard. Maybe it's per model? No. Unflinching, Deathwatch Teleport Homer. It doesn't say what the unit contains. This unit contains a maximum of 10 models. Where do we see what it contains? Handpicked. No, that's just a description of who they are. Your army can only include 1 Kill Team Cassius. For 3 power? That doesn't seem right. 60 points? No. No. Look at the point values and see what it actually says. Terminator Squad for 9 power. They're still Terminators. They've got the new school Terminator 3 wounds and enhanced outline. Same with the Veteran Bikers, who I like, the Veteran Biker Squad. I'm still going to use them, I think, because having 3 wounds and toughest 5 is still pretty great. And then you get Corvus Blackstar, which is the same as in the FAQ. Airborne, Supersonic, hard to hit. 12 Deathwatch Infantry, Deathwatch Bikers. Can't take Primaris still, so boo. And then points. Again, pretty much the same. Cassius is 100 points. Nitorin's 100 points. Artemis is 110 because he's got his wicked-ass primary grenade. Watchmaster's 125. Yeah, no, everything looks pretty much the same. Cassius is, 260 points for 9 models. There we go. So it's 9 times 3, so it's 18? No, that's too many power. That's 27 power. That's way too many power. Yeah, I think the power there's just wrong. I don't know how to translate what the power there says. Maybe it's 13 power. Actually, it would be 13 power. I think they just dropped the 1 off that. That's a good misprint. Because 13 power would be 260 points. Yeah, they just left the 1 off there. So let's just Sharpie a 1 in there and say that's 13 power. I'm guessing. That's my pick of the day. And then the Terminator Squads, Fast Attacks, Flyers, and then they even print your specials and point costs in here, which I think is super cool. And then weapon profiles that are, again, the same as in the FAQ. And that's it, your reference, which, again, super handy that it goes over all the terms and all the special rules and stuff. And then the code for the Codex, which I'm not going to show you because I'm going to put it on my phone. And we're done. Codex Supplement Deathwatch. So, new strats. Primarily what's new for you guys to see here is the strategies and the stratagems, the relics and stuff, because most of the other stuff was printed in the new FAQ. But I'm excited about it. I played a game with them already. I'm probably going to play a game this weekend with the Space Wolves. Again, these codexes showed up late just because of the mail. Like a lot, like the shipping's been... We're getting into Christmas season, so shipping starts to slow down, and it was both Halloween and my daughter's birthday this weekend, so this review's come out to you today. I'm going to do the Space Wolves one tomorrow, and you should see a Space Wolf game next week. So anyway, big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more GMG reviews in the future. A ton of MASH.
I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below to get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.